Welcome to the Her Voice Shines podcast, where we celebrate the power, brilliance, and resilience of women everywhere. I'm your host, Jayne Washington. Join us as we share inspiring stories and insights from extraordinary women who have found their voice and are making a difference. Together, we'll create a ripple effect, illuminating the path to visibility and empowerment. Let's break barriers, shatter ceilings, and lift each other up. In each episode, we dive deep into the journeys of women who have turned their challenges into triumphs and their dreams into reality. Whether you're looking for motivation, guidance, or a community that understands your journey, you're in the right place. Stay tuned and remember, let your voice shine. Stay tuned and remember to let your voice shine. You have landed at the Her Voice Shines podcast. I'm your fabulous host, Jayne Washington, streaming from none other than Houston, Texas. And I tell you guys, this podcast always takes me on new heights. I'm just honored to really create this place that is a place of passion, but really creates ripple effects long after we have left the space. And today is no different. And we're going to do it a little bit differently than we normally do because I have a very distinguished bio that I want to read to you. This lady really sparked me at a graduation that I attended. And you guys know where I am in life. I just have to do it in the moment. And I would not have missed the moment to reach out to this fabulous lady. And guess what? She said yes to this old crazy girl. And here she is, okay? I want to read the bio and we'll bring her to the stage very shortly. But we have a great one for you. We have the Dr. Jayne Moschella here in the building with us today. She is a distinguished leader in higher education and healthcare, serving as the Executive Vice President, Provost, and Chief Academic Officer at Parker University. With a career that spans clinical practice and academic administration, she brings deep expertise in accreditation, curriculum development, research advancement, and institutional leadership. Dr. Moschella earned her doctorate of chiropractic degree from Palmer College of Chiropractic and her bachelor's of science degree from Bloomfield College. She is licensed to practice in California, New Jersey, Virginia, North Carolina, and Florida, and holds an acupuncture certification. Beginning her career as a clinician in 1989, she has consistently leveraged real-world practice experience to strengthen academic programs and ensure alignment with evolving healthcare and workforce needs. A nationally respected accreditation leader, Dr. Moschella has served on academic and accreditation committees since 1997, including the SACSCOC committee chair, evaluator, accreditation liaison, and regional conference presenter. Prior to joining Parker University, she served 15 years as Vice President of Academic Affairs at a multi-campus institution in Florida, overseeing academic quality, compliance, and strategic growth. Since 2014, Dr. Moschella has played a pivotal role in Parker University's transformation, first as a member of the Board of Trustees and Academic Committee Chair, and now as the institution's Chief Academic Officer. She's deeply committed to advancing innovation in teaching and learning, expanding academic and research programs, and building facilities and partnerships that position Parker at the forefront of healthcare education. Her leadership is guided by passion for developing people, not just programs, and preparing graduates to lead the future of healthcare. If you're not already standing up and giving her a big round of applause, you better be. But here she is. We're going to bring her to the stage now. Welcome, Dr. Jayne Moschella.
Thank you, Shanedra. Wow, what a beautiful introduction. I really appreciate that.
We have to do it because one of the things about it, Dr. Moschella, if we don't celebrate our strides, we really can't expect that nobody else does. And I know that you are a woman who has had a beautiful journey, not from much just reading that, but all of the things that I looked up about you, because I did go dig around in your business a little bit, but I had to make sure that I did it the right way. So I want to bid you that grand welcome. And I want to first just give you the opportunity in this space to just, for reading such a powerful bio, when you heard me read that back to you, and I know sometimes you probably hear that because you go out and speak, yeah. What is going through your mind when people is introducing Dr. Jayne Moschella? Does it come kind of like a mundane thing because you hear it all the time? Or do you actually sit in it and say, look, I've really worn a lot of hats and done a lot of things?
Yeah, I mean, I think getting to my age, you look back and you say, wow, I earned that. I went through from the very beginning. I did every job at the last university I was at. Mm-hmm. And I loved every minute of it. You know, stood shoulder to shoulder with a lot of people. I learned a lot day by day by day. And it got me to here. This is the pinnacle of my career, and I don't take it lightly. So it kind of, it excites me to hear it because it did take a lot of work to get here. And then you have to enjoy where you've gotten to and use it wisely.
Absolutely. And it's been such a beautiful career. I mean, it's been over, 2 decades in academic leadership. That's absolutely amazing. Tell me about some core values that have guided you in the journey from clinician to provost, because there's this practicing piece. And then now I'm coming over and I'm actually teaching and I'm influencing programs. Tell me about those core values that led through that transition.
Yeah, honestly, it's really integrity and service, integrity in everything you do, and mindset of service. So how did I get here? Wanting to help people. So that transition from being a clinician, where you make decisions for each patient one at a time, transitioned me into academics where I could, it's scalable, right? So I can influence a lot more people at a time. And if I do that with intention and integrity, I'm doing the right thing.
Absolutely. And look, don't make me love you even more, because I tell people, I tell people this all the time, Dr. Jayne Moschella. I say, listen, my personal mantra,
please.
My personal mantra is you can remove all the adjectives, all the titles. At the end of the day, Sinead Washington is just a servant and a forever learner. I don't need any other adjectives. And I promise you that if I was to go out tonight, if you said that about me and I could hear you, I'll give you a hug from the spirit realm that I have done what I have been called to do, because the titles, the roles will change. So when I wake up, and I was actually in a presentation this morning, which for something I was really surprised that I actually raised my hand to do and to submit a pitch for it. I was like presenting, I'm like, girl, are you crazy? As I'm doing it. But I had to remind myself that when you said yes to it, there was something in this particular population of people that you felt that you could help and influence. Otherwise, you wouldn't have given it your all. But then when you start to kind of go through it and you're looking at the logistics and operation, like, okay, it's gonna be a little tricky. But what kept me grounded in that approach was like, I tell people that my work, it will never be bordered to any specific sector, anything, because we are forever moving, we're forever connecting stories. And if I can operate in being a servant and always have that learning lens, I am happy every day. So I wake up every day and do that.
Yeah, I feel the same way. And it's funny you said I raised my hand. That's how I got here, from a raised hand. I was in clinical practice, and by chance I was driving down the street and wanting to go to the bank. So I turned right instead of left, and I ended up in front of the Florida College of Natural Health. So I said, what is this? And I went in, and they said, oh, Dr. Moschella, you must be here for the teacher for anatomy and physiology teacher position. And I said, yes, I am. So I didn't know that they had a position open, but I started to teach nights and weekends, and then got to be full-time. And then when I got to Everglades University down in South Florida, anytime they needed anything done, I would raise my hand. And that's how I became the vice president of academic affairs. And it moved me right through this career. I ended up giving up my clinical practice because I was so busy in academics, reaching a lot more people.
You know what? I like the sport, because I don't know if I've ever heard that turn of success stories. Like, oh, I turned in front of the building, it was this building. I was like, yeah, I'm here to interview for.
Why not?
Hey, now that's the way to do it, you guys, because
that's another power over you. Saying,
it definitely
is where you belong, right?
Oh my gosh, I love that. And you seize the moment, because you could have very well been like, oh, well, no, I didn't know, and play that role. You was like, yeah, I'm here, so go ahead and give me the
help you out. How can I help? Service, yeah.
Come on. Now I want to talk about this because you play a great role in, accreditation, and also has this bridge of shaping educational equity. And believe it or not, I mean, me not directly in academics, but educational equity is very important to me. It also hinges back to kind of what I was working on this morning. Tell me about why educational equity is so important, and really what that is, because people don't always understand that term. Tell me in your words what educational equity is and why that's so important, and kind of what role does accreditation play in leveling the playing field in the equity space?
Well, equal opportunity for education is really what it's all about. And really eliminating those barriers that keep people from pursuing an education or thinking that it's available to them.
Mm-hmm.
So I fight for to have a really good admissions process that doesn't leave anyone out, that's fair, that's consistent, that you could defend at all times. I think everyone comes to us at a different level in college. So I've been doing this for a really long time. We want everyone to have that opportunity. So our programs range from certificate, associates, bachelor's, master's, doctoral programs, right? And I want to see these people have generational change in their transformational change in their family lives to be the first person to graduate from a certificate program, from an associate's program, all the way up to the doctoral program. But how do you do that? How can you make that true for families that are have a different background? And that is spending the time, spending the money, make it in a priority that every student has an opportunity to do well. So free tutoring, mentorship programs, peer-to-peer mentoring, peer-to-peer tutoring, so it's not so overwhelming. I'm afraid to go ask that person for help. When you have that service in mind and how to help a student be successful, it'll all fall into place and everybody has that same opportunity. And then what happens? They start telling other people and other people in their lives, how did you get to this place? I didn't think I could even graduate high school. Well, you can. And this is how it happened for me. And that's what keeps me going every single day, what wakes me up excited every single day to give that equity to students. No matter how they come to us, they're going to end up in the same place, a graduate.
And let me tell you guys, I witnessed that in practice, because when I came to the graduation, we did not expect to have so many disciplines and people. I was blown away. Like, I was literally blown away by it. I was turning the pages. I was like, oh my gosh, like, people are actually getting chiropractic degrees in the same ceremony that people are getting certificate programs. And typically it doesn't always work like that. They, kind of have it siloed to where, and I think that was also a different experience for me too, because believe it or not, the night before that particular graduation, I was up the road in Prairie View, Texas, for someone getting a master's degree. And it was, a very solid experience, whereas undergraduates were kind of over here and kind of over there. But to see that range really in one space kind of took me on a journey as you were talking about that, because it is something to think about. And it almost takes me back to my time as a hiring manager. When I worked at this particular financial institution, it was very hard to work there. Very hard. You went to about maybe 3 or 4 interviews. You had a peer interview, you had a senior manager interview, and then you had about 3 hours of what they call psychometric testing, which was a bunch of I'll be nice, okay? It was just a thing, right? But what I noticed in that, in my ability to really see people and hold space for them, I had to turn away some really, really good candidates that I knew. And I was almost certain, hear me when I say this, I was almost certain that those people could come in and not only be performers, but high performers in the particular role. But because of the system and the way in which they had the intake process and all of this testing, and the testing that really didn't have anything to do with the job. I mean, it was like old SAT stuff, like finish this symbol of, you get these symbols in a row and what's the next symbol based on this, it was that kind of stuff, which I can get how it could be helpful, but for the actual day-to-day roles, I managed it. I worked in it. It didn't have really a cone of reach to the everyday stuff. So when you say that, it helps me to think about even why I create now and the way in which I create, that I create a platform and a place where people can really and truly come as they are. And although this is not in the academic setting, it hinges on something I had to experience in the corporate world of those barriers. Exactly. So I wanted to make sure that you talked about that, and I could really draw those connections, because people are literally coming from a wide variety of different situations, social, economic, stability. We're all different, and we're melting pot, but we're here for a common cause, and that is to be educated. So thank you for sharing that. Now, I want to talk a little bit again about when you were a clinician, because I want to talk about some lessons from patient care. Because I do have elderly grandparents that I help caregive for. I know you talked about your mom, but my grandparents are 77 and 81 respectively, and we have to go to the doctor quite often for various, for a variety of things. And patient care, Jayne, oh my gosh, it's tricky. It's tricky these days. Are there lessons from patient care that really lead you from like the forefront of taking it to the institutional side? What are some of those lessons, and how can people, particularly in the medical field, really balance this is patient care and this is the task, and kind of mirror them? Because sometimes it feels like I'm very, very good at the stuff, but the patient care side, it just lacks just a little bit.
Yeah, I can agree with that. My 93-year-old mother lives with me, so we're at doctors from time to time. Luckily, she's quite healthy. And then I wonder about that myself, and I have to bring that into the school. Most of our faculty members are also or have been clinicians, and we bring that real world experience into the classroom. We also have the largest chiropractic student clinic, the largest chiropractic clinic in the world. It's also our student clinic, and they see real patients. It's really important that we model this behavior so that they understand that. Also, even in our associates programs in diagnostic sonography or radiologic technology, how our soft skills, how we treat people, how we talk to people. We want our graduates that are in their careers to also be teachers. I want them to be talking to their patients and teaching them how to understand what's happening to them, to be a part of the process. Mm-hmm. So I think it's really important that we teach soft skills. And no matter what job you're in, you really should hire for those skills even more than the technical skills. Of course, you need your degree and you need your license and you need your insurance. But if you have those soft skills, that's the best hire, because you can teach them those other things. But to be able to care, really care, you can't teach that. They have to be there.
And those other skills are always evolving, right? Because you may hire them in, right? You may hire them in today, and the thing that you hire for them may be the thing. But, and next year from now, and that's kind of not the thing, and, we're pivoting, but there's no soft skills, then like, what do you really have? So when you have those soft skills, and trust me, I know it kind of goes back to the last segment. I'm like, this person got some really good head on his shoulders. I really, really like him. But because there were a few little inconsistencies on this, which does have anything to do with the job, you totally just scrap this person after 3 interviews and all their time and all. It was hard to navigate that, and I could really see that they would be okay. But thanks for saying that. And the other part of it, and I typically try to build rapport with all the physicians that help us. Having this energy helps us a lot. Yeah. It helps us a lot because I just see them as people, and when we have the conversation, and I have had them say, "Ooh, just thank you for understanding," and I'll point out something in a way to them that's not like here, teacher or whatever, but just to share the experience. And I get 95% great responses after, just in the way in which I do it. But they say, "Well, hey, I never looked at it, like that."
Like that.
And particularly with the elderly population, where everything is so digital and technology. I mean, they're already frustrated because they have to sign in on an iPad versus having someone write their name in. So I am thinking about their experience from the time that they walk through the door, what they experienced here, and then what they have to go through once they're even in there talking to you, because they've already had an entire experience before they even see your face, doctor. So that's all I try and I'm just saying, that's all I try to say, Jayne, but I said in a very nice way, and they're typically pretty receptive to it. So thanks for sharing. If there was someone that says, look, I want to go in as a healthcare educator, I'm thinking about that as a career path, what is something that you would say, I want you to know this before choosing this career? What would be a good piece of advice?
You have to, at least at our school, you have to incorporate mind, body, and spirit. That's everything to us. So you know, you can't just be a great clinician. You can't just be a great teacher.
Sure.
You have to be all of it. Leadership isn't about control. It's about creating systems where people can succeed. Understanding that will change everything for their students. So, sometimes you get these sage on the stage teachers that want to control everything. It's really now different in education. It's a give and take, and it's an understanding. So if you want to get into teaching, you have to meet all those criteria, and then you have to understand the mindset of the student and be willing to change and shape and compromise to get to the right place to educate these students today.
Yes, importance of empathy and just heighten your emotional IQ just a tad bit. And I'm saying just a little bit. And just as a parent of an 8-year-old, and I was raised by 1940 kids. My grandparents raised me. So I've always had like a different lens than even my peers. It's like a little bit older. So between me and my son, even it feels like a greater like generational shift because of I'm kind of an older soul. So I have to tell myself all the time to put in those seeds of empathy because he's experienced life and world even at 8, far different than I did at 8 years old. So I'm taking a step back.
COVID.
Come on.
Yeah, there's been a lot.
And all of the platforms. So just thinking about that, especially if there are some generational gaps in the people that you're teaching, it's just a good practice to have. What I like about the things you talk about expanding research and technology, which is phenomenal because we have to do that. Is there anything in terms of innovations in the healthcare space that's really exciting you now? Anything that you're bringing in right now that keeps you just particularly excited because you are happy to see where this thing goes, or maybe you're working on something that really excites you?
We're working on a lot of things at Parker University that really excite me.
I love it.
So we have different arms of research at our university. So we have a research center that does a lot of chiropractic research, clinical research. We have one of the world's leading human performance researchers at our university now, Dr. Andy Galpin, and he's doing human performance, longevity, performance research, which is amazing. We have researchers in our, like Dr. Chris Malaya is in charge of our scholarly research and works with our students and our faculty. We have the Parker Performance Institute. Parker has a body and brain health clinic up in Frisco, which is beautiful. It's also part of our Human Performance Center. We're doing research out of there, and some of the most innovative techniques for treatment of mild brain injury. We have the Invicta Project, which we spend a lot of time working with people out in the industry to get us donations to treat veterans for free. We invest at the school in all the best technology for teaching our students. But I'm excited about AI coming around. We have to be careful with our students because we don't want to just teach them how to memorize. We want to teach them how to think. And so using all those technologies, research areas, and practices, we like to share that with the students so that they feel that they're a part of that growth, that contribution to the body of knowledge. It's really important to us to integrate all of that. And we try to stay well ahead of the curve with technology. Like we have a virtual reality room. We have virtual dissection tables.
Oh, wow.
That connect to their phones and their devices. We're all about that. We're all about leading in technology, research, and practice.
Oh my gosh, like the little science kid in me just went crazy for virtual dissection. For virtual.
I can see you in the medical.
Yeah, it's so interesting because I started off as a science kid. I was in Science and Math Academy. I was a bio major, chem minor. So when I'm doing this, I'm like, well, whose life am I living? Like, take me, like, I don't know. I'm still trying to figure it out. Doing something like this was not in the books for me. It did not seem like this would be a path that I can go. So when I hear about all these cool things, I'm like a kid again. And it takes me back to really those science-based days. And you guys got all the cool stuff that an old nerd like me would probably really like to see in real time, even though I'm not a student. It's kind of crazy, isn't it?
Well, let me get you up to the school and I'll give you a personal tour.
Oh, no, wait a minute. Now, if I pull back up to Dallas and I'm looking for Jayne, where is she? She said she's going to give me a tour and I want it. So
I'll be there.
I will definitely work that in to do that this year because I'm truly excited about that. I want to ask you on the role of mentorship. Mm-hmm. It's very important in some form. I've always been like a student of wisdom. Like I said, lots having, older people around me, but then also kind of gravitating to knowledge within the workplace. Tell me about the importance of leadership and mentorship in your journey. Were there any mentors that just stuck out? It's like, I really remember that nugget from this person and really how that shaped, your trajectory.
So many. I'll mention a few. My dad was a school teacher.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he was my best friend, funny and irreverent and smart and creative and artistic. Just the best mentor anyone can have. His older sister, my aunt, and her husband were school teachers, and a couple of their sons became medical doctors.
Okay.
And so they were all mentors to me. And of course, Dr. Gary Hokenadel taught me everything I know about educational leadership, and to be in my position. And he was the provost before me at Parker University, and but I've known him for a long time, nearly 30 years. And now he's on our board of trustees. One of the greatest influences in my life, really got me to where I am today. One of the funniest things he ever told me, he's a very funny man, but I was learning to be the vice president of academic affairs at that school in Florida. And I said, give me your best advice for getting through learning all of this. And he said, well, Jayne, here's what you do. You have to deal with the thing that's going to shut down your school first. Then from there, it gets a lot easier.
That's a little direct now, Jayne.
But then he said, when you make a decision or when you have to put a policy in place, start making a policy manual. It'll get you far, and it'll teach the people coming after you. So an SOP manual and being organized. He was a great mentor. He continues to be.
I love that. And not a bad stock to come from, having this superstar dad and then you got aunts and everything what a blessing. Definitely not a bad place to be for you to speak of people that are literally blood connected to you with such high esteem and high regard. And I hope that you count that really in some of your highest blessings, because it was really already in you to do this. Even when you were practicing in the clinic, it was always really in you to be a teacher and a guide. And you probably didn't even realize that those seeds were there so early on. And look what it's bloomed to be. So that's absolutely beautiful.
Thank you. I think as long as you keep your intentions in good, sure, it'll always shine through. You want to help. Even if you make mistakes, people understand because your intention is right.
I love it. What advice would you give to a young woman who is aspiring to be in healthcare leadership, in academia, healthcare? Just talk us kind of through that journey. I want to say that before we start, this podcast has brought us really such a wide array of women. I'm talking about a wide array, medical field, reality stars. We had a former, I think Miss Hader or somebody on here. When I tell you, I've spoken to like 4 or 5 formerly incarcerated women, all incarcerated for nonviolent crimes. When I say it's been a wide array, and that range is very intentional, because this place removes the titles. But in all of that, I spoke to probably, I would say, one of the most powerful women on my podcast. And I say it because literally, like, you can call her and she can make something in the city happen. So she has power attached to her name. But I asked her in a very candid space, I said, what's your confidence level today? Or just in general for the season? And do you know she told me a 2 on a scale of 1 to 10? She told
That's
me,
what I was going to say, don't we as women usually have imposter syndrome?
come on. See, I want you to talk about it because it's a real thing. And I'm like, you can literally go buy anything you want and kind of do whatever you want. You kind of have this power thing. And you would tell me, this girl, and I don't even know. I don't know. I'm a little crazy. I don't even know why I asked her. Like, it just came up. I was like, what is your confidence level like in this season? And did not expect to hear too.
Yeah.
To hear too.
Yeah. I listen to my bio and I think, wow, that's probably somebody that's very accomplished and very smart. But, I don't think that way about myself. I have to learn every day. I make mistakes all the time. Even people on my team, when they make mistakes, I'm like, let's all learn from it. Let's get everybody in. Let's learn from it, But I say your voice counts. Your voice shines. And use it. Use your voice. Fake it, because soon you'll know that you have the right answers and you're doing the right thing. You have that background behind you. We hire, pretty close to equal men and women faculty at our university. And I have a lot of women coming up to me saying, either I want your job or how do I get to where you are?
Right.
And my answer is always, like I said, mind, body, and spirit connection, having the right intention, and always learning so that you could do better and better each time. And don't be afraid to make a mistake. You're going to make a mistake. We all know that, but learn from it. Be humble, be courageous, and do it anyway.
Just do it anyway. And you guys know, if you follow me, I just do it anyway. Like, I just look, I'm like, man, you really got some random experiences, because I just decided to really just do it. So my life is very random.
That's great.
It is. It's a very random lifestyle. But I was happy to hear in that segment you say, well, look, we are really hiring an equal number of women and men. And that's such a beautiful thing to see, because speaking to so many women in other industries and even in the medical profession where that's just not the case. It is still an overwhelmingly side where it's male dominated. And I know you can't speak for all sectors because, you're in medical and academia, but what do you think are some structural changes that could be in place to help just across the board to support more women and really advancing into more leadership and executive leadership roles?
Well, I think when women have to enter into male dominated areas, they fight for their position probably all day, every day. But you have to fight for other women to come up, behind you. In our Doctor of Chiropractic program, actually right now, we have slightly more women than men in that program. We're going to have a lot of doctors out there that are women, and they're all teachers and trainers and, people that love people. But you have to fight for it. It's never ending battle to get, when you see somebody, mentor them, guide them along, help them. But don't be afraid as a woman to step in and try it, interview, put yourself out there, because you're not going to get there sitting home saying, they're not going to believe that I really know this. You got to push the envelope. We need you. So do it. We need you. Get in the workforce. Try something new. Try something hard. It's better for you. You grow, and it's better for the world.
It really is. And I think about my journey, and, we teach personal branding, and we teach all of the things. We teach voice, we teach visibility. And I tell people all the time, the reason that I'm able to teach it the way that I teach it is because it's a journey of self-work. And I don't mean that, creating the thing, creating the task, creating a business name. I mean the internal work that it took to get to this level of clarity. And I am not telling you that it was easy. And most people do not believe this, Jayne. I am just the shy girl from the back of the room who people are still wondering, what happened to you? What did you drink? Give me the potion. There is absolutely no magic potion, but it did take a lot for me to get here, because I could always do the task right. I was just a girl that went into work, put her head down, and got the work done. I could literally probably do the work of maybe 2 people easily without even thinking about it, because that's just how I was trained to be. But when I share my story, I say, well, you know what ended up happening toward the latter part of my career? And I started to realize, because I never actually put the voice with the task-based stuff, I started to get all the crap projects. I would take the team that was like a zero and turn them to heroes, and they would take all those people away from me. And here I am starting from scratch again, because I could never say, oh, that doesn't feel good. Or is there another way that we can work this out? Because I felt that if I did that, I would be seen as angry, or I would be seen a certain way because I was raising concerns of things that did not feel good. So getting into the space to fully articulate not only the good things, but hey, when something doesn't rub me the wrong way or something I really want to talk about, it took a lot of time. It took me doing the hard things. It didn't come from me just having, all the cushy jobs or everything went, well, or I was the most educated in the role. It just didn't come like that. So in doing the hard things and taking the projects and stepping up and doing the thing, it literally got me here. It's no magic. It's no magic pill that you can take and wake up probably and feel like, whoa, it's an ever-changing landscape as well.
Yeah, I mean, my school has a seminar company, Parker Seminars. I don't look it up. It's really great. We put on some amazing seminars. We had over 5,000 attendees at our Vegas seminar last March.
Sure.
Yeah, we're going to have another one in February. We have one in Miami. We have one at the school in October, every year, which you need to come to. And we have world-class authors, people in medicine, in all kinds of disciplines in healthcare. So, of course, chiropractic quite a bit. And we show our research at these events. And so what we're doing is teaching everyone to be lifelong learners. That's the most important thing. Keep learning, keep growing, keep showing up, keep raising your hand.
I love that. And you already told you that was in my mantra. I said service and forever learning. So, you speak in my language, you give me real bubbly inside, because it really is in me to create that language for people. Mm-hmm. I can't, I'm not in a position to stop learning. Like, are you crazy? Like, I don't know how that works. My life would not be what it is if I didn't do it. But part of that is conducting these type of settings, because I tell people when my guests show up, like, I don't know what other people do on their podcast. This is my podcast. I know for a fact it is a reciprocal pour. When I leave here, I leave more educated. I leave better rooted. And I have literally had a pre-AP course to life over this past 16 months of podcasting. I am not the same person I was when I did play back in 2024. And that is because people like Jayne, they come, they hang out, they don't know what they get into. It just probably feels so random. Like, where does this lady even come from? It probably it really speaks to how my life actually goes. And I'm like, I've seen, if I like them and it's an attraction, I act. I just do. I'm going to do it. The worst thing Jayne could have said was no. And I would have still thought Jayne was just as amazing and still really felt that moment. So I want to give this fragrance to the world, and I don't care what sector you're in. So those seminars are really doing, I think, a powerful thing. And of course it resonates with me, because that is literally how I see this world, as really a pocket for learning, like, everywhere. And I literally get experiences, heightened experiences, or maybe because I'm open to it, everywhere. I could be in the grocery store and it's like people just smell it on me. They're like, hi. I'm like, hey,
It's true. When you're walking around with a smile, how different do people react to you compared to?
Absolutely. They just eat it up. Now let's
smile every time I'm walking around my school. I don't really have to try because I'm so in love with it, but the students can tell. They're like, wow, she's super smiley.
And you
make you approachable, right?
Smiles. Yeah, it does make you approachable. Now let's talk about legacy. Okay. What legacy do you hope to leave? Not just as a provost. We know you got all the titles, but as a mentor, educator, as a leader. Like, if anything, I typically I don't get to do it often, but I typically make my guests envision their 80th birthday, and they're in a setting where they're having this party or service that's really saying, hey, you've made it to 80. And I said, forget about the food, the dress, and all of that. When they start to pass the mic around and they say, well, what has Jayne really meant to you? What has Jayne done in you that ignited change in you? What would you hope that people are saying about Jayne in legacy?
Well, I hope they say that I cared. Number one, I tried to make things better. Tried to leave behind leaders who lead with integrity, institutions that put people first, in my case, students first, and systems that outlast me because they were built right and they're going to serve you well into the future. I'd love that to be my legacy.
I love that because it's not just about you, right? It's their ripple effect. It's like what's going to happen post the implementation, what happens after that. So that's absolutely beautiful. Now, I wanted to ask you, but you've kind of already answered this in the previous segment because I was going to ask you about one new program that you would like to create that Parker does not have yet. And I want you to talk about that. I mean, because you're talking about so many amazing things in the segment. I mean, there's so many, like I'm almost ready to enroll and I don't even know what to do. Great, but I'm telling you, I want you to answer that because if there is something that you hope that comes that was not mentioned in the previous segment, what is that?
We're going to start a nursing program. So yeah, we're really
excited. A big one, Jayne.
Yeah, it is big. We haven't gone through accreditation with it yet, but we talked about it with the president and the board of trustees and our faculty. Of course, all our ideas come from our amazing faculty. I think it's great. We need thousands and tens of thousands of more nurses in Texas alone. So I want to contribute to fixing that issue. And then I'm so proud of how we do everything at Parker University and the high level of our graduates that I would be very, very proud to put nurses out into the world through Texas and throughout the country. So I'm excited about that.
That is amazing. And at the rate at which Texas is growing, especially Houston and Dallas, I can tell you right now, there is definitely a need for nurses. These metroplex cities are growing at, oh my God, an astronomical rate. I'm about to go buy a piece of land in the middle of nowhere. So
it's growing like crazy.
Oh my goodness. And I never thought, I am Houston all through and through. I went to college in Austin, but I'm just basically like a down home Texas girl. And I never really thought that I would consider even leaving Houston in a holistic sense. Yeah, you can travel, but I'm living to a place to where, I've kind of outgrown the hour and a half commute to downtown. I'm only 14 miles away. It can literally take that long. I'm like, how does it take? I could be in Austin by now. How am I still here to drive 14 miles? But with these cities growing, we're definitely in the need for sure for nurses. Let me ask you this really quickly. Is there any belief about education that you hold now that you maybe didn't hold early in your career? I know that for me, the evolution of education in my mind has changed because I do create freely now. And I've had a lot of shifts here lately because I'm not, and this is not saying anything bad about my journey with education prior to this, but because I am waking up in a more creative energy, I guess I'm magnetized by learning experiences. So for me personally, I wish I would have known much earlier that learning can literally happen everywhere. I was just like a straight silo. It has to come from the book. Yeah. I just have to get the A. But lived experience, storytelling, all these different things have really played a great deal in my education experience, even as an adult. Is there anything for you that has changed really with your perception of education that you probably didn't hold earlier on?
I think we sold short the relationship when I was in school a long time ago, that, policies create transformation, book learning creates transformation, but I don't think that that's entirely true. I think you need to add in how relationships create transformation and also how being open and lifelong learning and embracing the change that comes with each generation into that. So relationships do. I think that's what's changed most for me.
Yeah, I can surely second that. There has literally been, particularly the past 6 months, where a relationship has opened the door.
Yeah.
And it really wasn't about task. Now they were like, we know that you'll get it done. And to have that type of belief in me when it's something I haven't touched before just by showing me who you are and your care. Like, we trust you with it, and that's something that I never take lightly. And it's truly just come from pure relationship building. Like, I'm not out to get anything or do anything. I just want to truly build something with you in a place that's pure. So thank you so much for sharing that.
Thank
And
you.
let me just tell you something, Jayne. You did not have to say, I don't want to say this several times, you did not have to say yes. We've been speaking for 45 minutes. It only feels like 10 or 15. I'm just being fair. I'm just being fair. It's only felt like about 10 or 15 minutes. And I just want to thank you for coming and showing up the way in which you've shown up. It has been natural and pure. And I truly believe that you care. I wouldn't have called you girl if I didn't. I wouldn't.
Major, you've been a joy. Thank you so much.
You are more than welcome. But this is the part in our show we cue to our guests for final thoughts. We ask them to give some great parting words for this space and really something that captures the essence of the Dr. Jayne Moschella. I will be over to you for final thoughts, and after that, I'll be back to close the show.
I guess I'll just reiterate that you have to care. It has to show. Take joy in all you say and do. Stand behind your words. Don't be afraid to have a voice, and enjoy your life.
You got to remember to enjoy life. You really, time is fleeting, right? You know, you have to remember to do that. And to those of you who are out there in the Her Voice podcast land, I want to tell you thank you. Thank you for rocking this long with me and Jayne. It's been an absolute pleasure. And I'll tell you guys, miraculous things happen when you let your voice shine. This is why this platform actually exists. And like the folk in church say, I love you. There's nothing you can do about it. And we'll be back really in no time with another amazing woman here on the Her Voice Shines podcast. But until then, we are out.